Any question? Anything? No question. Wait, let me get start. Discussion session.
The discussion session will be recorded, right?
Session
Will the session be recorded?
Yeah, yeah.
recorded.
It will be recorded and posted in the link, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You mean,
Because I need to summarize it and send it to you, I believe.
no, you don't need to. I record it and I'll do all the things.
Okay.
After that, you need to forward, right?
Yeah.
So you want to see those recording?
Yeah. I think the PowerPoint from last time, product. The
Open the file.
yeah.
When do you upload?
No, I don't know. I will use your PowerPoint.
My phone.
Yeah.
Yes. Which one? This one? This one?
The presentation. So, good afternoon. For today's session, the last one simple question. In this design spiral, where do you think should the safety be put into? As you can see, there's no safety that is listed inside. Where or like when do you think should the safety of the equipment or like the shipbuilding be implemented? The main question of this discussion.
Maybe just after functional.
After functional or and why do you think so?
Because when we find the items that we will implement in the ship on the different equipment, after we found them, then we need to ask ourselves if how the safety will be.
I think it should be somewhere between functional and detail, because like when you are making a concept, when you're conceptualizing, you think you could be a little more creative or aggressive about the design of the ship. But as it goes on, it becomes like obvious about functionally, like you have to add some like safety factors and engineering. So really, when you're constructing the ship, you have to go into the detail. So between functional and detail.
For me, it's maybe the concept. Think it before, because like if you think after functional and after designing, you may change a lot of things in your design, and thus lost a lot of time in it. Like probably engineering team work with health and security team together.
Yeah.
And be able to manage something like that.
Any other?
So in the end, I agree with everyone, and this is why I think that phase two, you have to think about it pretty much at every step. Like maybe not in detail at first, you just have a grand idea, and then as you go into details from function, then you enter details.
Any other? Do you have any other opinions, or like do you want to argue with that?
In my opinion, I think the structure part must include the safety details. So not in the depths, but the safety part is should be always considered in whole spiral, I think. Like a safety factor, such as the mechanical engineering countries. So I think the structure part should include the safety, you know.
About you, do you have any?
No, I thought there will be time and, yeah.
Do you have any more?
If we say that safety will be in the structure, we also have to be sure that the electrical systems will not be overload or can cause any fire on the structure. And also the auxiliary systems need to be sure that all equipment have good communication between them. So, like Amelie said, it could be more interesting to have in every section a bit of security, a bit of safety, and always be sure that the limit is in front.
Any other? Yeah, as everyone had said, maybe it's like the first idea was to put it like after the functional, so like after, like every function of the parts, and then we put the safety. That's, I think, kind of a good idea, but also it's kind of late, because like when you put the function and then go into the details, I believe that the safety should be incorporated like while doing every step. Because if you don't do that, probably there's like, Isa, I believe, your name is Isa. You said, then the design can be changed quite a lot. And the design change can push back the time again, and it can change some functionality of the parts. And so, yeah, as everybody has said, it should be done, I believe, in every part of the spiral. Like starting from the concept, you already need to have in mind how the ship should be saved. And although, like, yeah, for the concept, you can just be as creative as you want, and like putting all of the ideas together. Maybe just a little bit of safety, and then as the details come on, as the functionality and details come on, I believe that it also should, like the safety also should be more detailed and to be more calculated then. Sharish, do you have any additional thing maybe you want to say?
I think everyone has covered up all the points I wanted to say.
Maybe Professor, what do you think?
Right. Can you roll down the other slide? There is another spiral. Right. See, when the clock comes clockwise, at the end, there is a cost estimation, right? For me, safety is very similar to the property of cost. It means it should be consider everything of the whole system. The cost should consider every item of the ship, right?
Yeah.
Safety is very similar. In that there is a widespread,
Yes.
not only a single item. It's important, or it is important that every subdomain should be integrated for the safety. That's why I'm saying it looks similar first. And also the phase-wise should be started from the beginning, and also do more details and details. So we need to do several times.
Yes. Yeah. So you said that the safety should be done like after all is done, and then we think about the safety. Is that what you say?
When you see the other subdomains,
Mhm.
starting from powering, body plan, curves, freeboard, these are sub items of which making the ship. So, but cost is something like the integrated view.
Yes.
And safety should be similar to that is my
Mm.
integrated or compositional view is required.
So anybody want have like any other different opinion? From yeah, maybe as Professor said, it is quite similar to cost where you need to see the whole thing. But I actually have a slightly different opinion from the professor.
Good.
Good. Yeah, it's because from one professor, he said that it integrates the whole thing. But for cost, I believe that we see it like at the very end, like after all has been done, and then after you design the whole thing, then you calculate the cost of that design. Whereas I think for safety, it should not be at the last where like the cost where you see back to the whole design, but it should be incorporated for like each tiny steps. So maybe it consumes time also, but if you integrate, for example, then the powering, you already integrate the safety of the power, and when you design the other like the damage stability or something, you already know that there's this safety of the power. Then you don't need to change again the design when you get to the damage stability. Like, or if you put it like at the end as the cost, I believe there might be, for example, safety from the hull form. Then the changes in the hull form will change to the other spec in line, because like the change of the hull maybe change the size of the machine that can be taken, and thus also change the other things. What do you think about it? If you have to.
I think I kind of disagree with what you said about cost, saying that you see how much is at the end. Because like usually in projects, well, that's what I think, when you have to choose between different technical solutions, like what makes you choose is how much it costs, because you already know how much money you have for the project.
Yeah.
I think it's you think about the cost also over time, and not just at the end of the spiral.
Yeah. Any other?
I think maybe it could actually depend on the mission requirement itself. For example, like if it's a kind of autonomous ship that doesn't have any people, but like an unmanned ship that's being developed, in that case, maybe you could compromise a little bit of safety to like have some additional functions. But if it's a ship with a person, so if it's a manned ship, you have to have a higher safety factor. So maybe like the place of safety in the spiral might depend on the mission requirement itself.
Any other opinions? If you have any other opinions, you can then
also we need to care about the thing, what we aim to do. You know, sometimes we need to build some, for example, the LNG ships, which contain the LNG. It care about the other thing, more thing than just the cargo ship, because the LNG can be maybe can cause the fire, and they're really vulnerable compared with the simple cargos. So that kinds of characteristic of the ship should be considered in, you know, it also can be considered in the beginning of the design, like cost and safety factor as they state, but it also can be should be carried in the carable parts like human damage issues, like human can be LNG can be damaged in a human's lungs, so that kind of thing should be considered. So based on the characteristics of the ships, all the design should be changed.
Any other opinion? So if not, then that's, I believe, the end of the discussion. Thank you.